Alrighty, welcome everybody to another edition of the Whiskeyed Gingers podcast. I'm Brandon. That's Chris. No, this is not Jeff. No, Jeff did not get shorter. In Jeff's stead, we have one of Jeff's friends that Chris and I got to meet at the bachelor party, and then again at Jeff's wedding. So we felt it only right, if Jeff's off on his honeymoon having a great time, that we bring in our backup Jeff and have Ryan come join us on the pod today. Happy to be here, guys.
Backup Jeff, how you doing?
Backup Jeff. Which is a pretty lowly title because, as the people of this show know, Jeff, it's a lot of goddamn it, Jeff, or, you believe Jeff. We rag on Jeff a lot on the show. So to be backup Jeff, that's like the third string quarterback, I would say.
It'll be totally fine.
In the world.
It is. It is. You get to hang.
It'll be a good time. We're happy to have you here and happy to enjoy some whiskey. It is, as everybody on the Northeast is experiencing, an absolute sweater out here. It's super brutal. Some of us have spent a lot of time in the heat today, and we're continuing to do that now in our outdoor film set here. Yeah. But it's not so bad. Got a little good breeze coming through here.
Honestly, I mean, we'll get to the whiskey in a second, but we just had dinner inside my semi-air-conditioned house. I got to be honest, I'm more comfortable now than I was eating dinner.
With the breeze coming,
Yes.
It's not so bad.
Yeah, this is better than my interior dining room.
Well, you need some airflow is really what it comes down to. Even when it's really hot, like if you're driving with the windows open or something, just the air blowing on you is enough.
It'll get you by.
Yep.
And, whiskey's typically best enjoyed in, the colder months. What was it? St. Bernard's used to carry it around to warm people up. So naturally, it's sitting at about 100 here on the East Coast.
So we're going
to try some whiskey. This week was my turn to pick it out. It's been a little while, I think, since it's been my turn to both pick and buy the whiskey. I've had some stuff I've wanted to try. Chris has had some stuff he's wanted to try that we've already owned. This is my first time back in Total Wine in a little while. And I'll say one thing. I don't know how the tariff situation's working, and we're not a political podcast. The price of whiskey has gone up a little bit.
Do you think so?
Yes, I know so. I remember what I used to buy some of these whiskeys for, and some of our lower tier 1 whiskeys, like, your high 20s. I saw some of them in like the low 40s, which for us is like a treat kind of. Yeah, so
I'll have to take a peek next time I'm in my store.
Sure. Yeah, I thought that was really, really interesting. So today I decided to pick up Copper Still. It's getting a little bit harder to find things that we haven't tried before, but this was one of them. It's a single barrel bourbon, 90 proof. And what I thought was neat about it, even though I'm buying it at a big box store, it's a relatively small batch. This is batch number 2, barrel 9. It's only bottle 118. So it's not overly mass produced. Unfortunately, the label's falling apart in the heat here.
The condensation is making it go pretty good.
Yeah, but it's an award-winning bourbon made from sweet corn and a hint of spicy rye. You get the perfect balance of sweet and spicy, which in bourbons tends to be what we've enjoyed the most. Not a full bourbon, not a full Irish, a little bit of sweet and a little bit of heat.
Yeah.
And this is a 3-year aged in oak barrels.
Nice.
So all that to be said, we'll see how it tastes.
I'm going to give it a little bit of a closer. I mean, like, that's actually not a bad view of that.
It's a pretty neat bottle, too. It's got like a moonshine still on the front, which I like.
Yep.
I've never even heard of it.
That's me either. That's, I typically try to get stuff that we've never tried or heard of. Because if we've never heard of it, chances are other people haven't.
Yep. This one's going to be a tough one. It doesn't have like its thing.
There's no little thing on there.
Well, the thing is, I'm wearing basketball shorts, not my I don't have my knife on me, which I always do. Here we go. We're gonna be fine.
Okay. I don't think I have one out here. I have scissors over there if I can leak it off.
We're gonna be fine. Check it out.
Okay.
It's all good.
So Copper Still doesn't want you getting into it. Also,
it's all good. I kind of pulled it when I did that.
Was this open previously? Oh yeah, we gotta get the pop. Ooh. That was a good one. That's a qualifier on this podcast.
Definitely.
The pop
Ryan, I'll pour you first as you are our guest star here tonight.
Yeah. Ryan and I are also drinking whiskey and water at this juncture. But we finally have another on the rocks guy because when Jeff comes and joins us, he drinks it neat.
Really?
Yes.
Surprising.
You're actually our first guest on the rocks. My buddy Bob takes his neat, and Joe took his neat. So you're the. I don't remember our distiller friends and how they drank theirs.
I remember Jeff being on the rocks. We must have switched that up
Yeah.
somewhere along the way.
I think he met Chris and wanted to fit in.
That's true. Chris is pretty cool.
Yeah, you know what?
Man, dude, these cubes
Once
are melting.
once you become a
instantly.
neat guy, you're a neat guy. That's
Yeah.
what it is.
All right. Cheers, gentlemen.
Cheers to you both.
That's pretty smooth, actually.
I taste the spice right up front,
Yeah,
which it's heavier on spice than like a lot of things. This would be a great fall whiskey
it would.
for sure. Like it would hit really good in the fall. I think it actually is fine for right now too.
Yeah, it's not
Um,
quite spicy and hot like a winter.
No, spicy and sweet. It's kind of like
Yeah.
a weird combo. I mean, I know that's what it says it's going to be, but sometimes those flavors don't always come out the same way all the time.
Yeah, this
Like-
one does. I mean, I'm curious to get your opinion because my first swig and yours might have been the same. That's why I took two real quickly. My first swig was very thin and watery,
It's just
but that's
the water.
because of how quickly the
Yeah.
ice is melting.
It's kind of how it is.
The second sip I thought was a lot better than the first.
Yeah, no,
So you're our best benchmark, though.
yeah,
Yeah,
no, it's good. I actually really like it a lot. I think that like I said, the sweet and the spicy are coming out at the same time. You guys are probably hiding the spice a little bit because
Yeah.
of the water, but I'm sure the sweet is still coming through very strong.
yeah. I would say ours probably has a bigger gap between the two. Like it's sweet right away. Give it a second or two, and then you get the spice. Whereas I feel
Yeah.
yours might be happening.
They're
kinda
almost
like bang,
they're
bang,
almost
bang.
the same time.
Yeah.
It's
Very
like,
unaggressive, I'll say that.
Yeah, and
no, it's an enjoyable sip for sure.
the unaggressive is generally speaking our type.
Mhm.
We came into the podcast not liking bourbon really at all and just drinking Irish whiskey. Over time,
That's
they've almost pulled equal for me or close to it.
I would say so because we know what we like now, and there's so many variations out there that we can really dial in on what we like. And we're also kind of biased when we go pick them because even when we pick a bourbon, like this is a prime example. You picked a bourbon that you knew we'd like.
Yeah.
Essentially, it wasn't like I just picked a random bourbon off the shelf. It was I picked a bourbon that I know I like because it's got the sweet and spicy flavors to it. Ryan, to fill you in, we're not like super big on the I'm eating charcoal bourbons that are out there.
No,
You know, like that never really did
Yeah,
it
have
for
a
me.
nice little taste to it.
Exactly.
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of Irish myself. Got a bottle of Powers at home. Had a little Tully Dew last week.
Yep.
can't go wrong with either.
Yeah, typically I'm kind of dancing around certain bush.
Yeah, Bushmill was a hit. What was the Bushmill original was really good. Was it the Prohibition that we
Yeah.
were like doing backflips over?
Yeah. So you had it at my house.
Probably.
So it's the Thomas Shelby
Yeah.
version of it from the Peaky Blinders, so the Prohibition one. Really awesome. I've seen it like a handful of times since I bought it. Popularity on it has definitely dropped a lot. The next time I see it, I think I'm probably going to buy a couple bottles because I feel like it's not going to be around a lot going forward. And also, it's not that expensive.
Yeah,
So
it's still hanging around with the 30, 40.
yeah. I mean, ultimately, it's still Bushmills. It's
Yeah.
not like if they're going to inflate the price in it at all, it's because it's got a famous icon on it. Essentially, that's it. It has nothing to do with the quality of the whiskey that's in
I'm
it. It's,
surprised that's all it is. to be
yeah,
honest.
it is a little different than the regular Bushmills taste wise, but I wouldn't say by much. It lives in that category. Totally fine for me.
It was a little bit of an upgrade from because we did them both, I think, pretty quickly together. But a game we like to play is trying to guess what the other one spent. So Chris doesn't know what I bought this for. So I'm curious to see what you guys think or what you would pay if you saw this on the shelves.
I'll come in at 38.
38. All right.
I would say I'm not going to go north of 40. That's fine.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I think we're in the
It's
same
45.
ballpark.
That's my
Yeah.
absolute high.
You'll both be pretty happy. It was $32.99.
Nice. No, I think it's great for that price.
Yeah.
This is the opposite of what we had last week
Last it was
or
I
last
saw
time.
the bottle.
Yeah.
It was when I went to buy this one. It was a 55.
Yeah, Morgan said it was on sale or whatever, and
Huh.
she got it for like
Wasn't
somewhere around $50. And I mean, the whiskey was great when we first had it, and then we learned the price point, and I'm like,
Didn't
not
have-
for that price point. I mean, like
That's Basil Hayden money.
I was gonna say, we have like the number one contender for your $50 price
That's
range
last week,
of Basil
No,
Hayden.
that's my go-to whiskey.
Yeah.
I kind of hate that I didn't bring it in. Typically, it's been fine.
So Basil Hayden is it's like our benchmark for like a $50 bottle.
Yeah.
If you want to get into that range of bottle price, then Basil Hayden is probably your buy-in at that price.
Yeah, this is the last great whiskey before you jump into like spending some real cash, like Writer's Tears. I'm always blank on the other one that we really liked. That the Eagle Rare.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
that's your next step up. But as
That's
far
like
as
the
your
$70-$80 price point in there, and then you could go even higher and go to like Blanton's and everything else, which we did do.
we did Blanton's next to Eagle Rare, and I think if I remember correctly, you and I both came out.
I'm
even leaning Eagle Rare.
I'm Team Eagle Rare on that one. They're both hard to get, so like that's not the problem. But the price point, it's like you can find Blanton's anywhere from like $100 to $140. That's like somewhere in that range.
Yeah.
Usually it's on the higher end of that. But Eagle Rare, it's just difficult to get, but it's usually $80.
Yeah.
Which is still a lot of money for a bottle of whiskey,
It is.
but it is the best bourbon that I've had personally.
It's that's a good segment. We're gonna get into. We have a structured next. Let's drink about it. But since we have Ryan here, and you and I have talked about this at length, I'm curious what the best. You can take it overall. Best whiskey, bourbon, scotch. Like, what is the single best like brown liquor that you've had?
It's a tough question. Overall, I'm not sure, but I bought my dad for his birthday last year a bottle I've never heard of, and I haven't gone back to, but that's because it's a little bit more expensive. It's about $65.
Mhm.
It was called the Silky.
Mm,
It's an
I've heard of
Irish
that.
whiskey, and it was really good. It had this kind of like upfront, almost like cinnamony heat. But like you said, I'm kind of not in the business of spending more than like $40 on a bottle.
yeah.
But it was really good. I bought it for his birthday. I would say I am kind of in the Irish camp, but I enjoy kind of venturing out. A bottle of Bullet's always really good.
Mhm.
If I'm going that way, I'm probably going Bullet.
We'll talk about that in a second.
Have you done Writer's Tears before?
So
So
a little bit of a novice.
if you're in the Irish whiskey camp and you're looking for like the elevated Irish whiskeys, I would say Writer's Tears is probably up on like, I'm not going to say the top, but it's
Real
definitely up there.
It's funny,
I mean-
every Friday I'll go to Wine and Spirits. Excuse me. No, I guess I'll just get pushing aside. I guess I'll just get told you do.
Well, sometimes you like stick to what you know.
Yeah.
So like that's what it comes down to.
Speaking of which, if you like those two,
Four walls.
yeah, we tried Four Walls a little while ago. That's up there as far as everyday Irish whiskey. It's
Talk
not-
about bang for your buck. That one was
Yeah.
like $28 or something. if I
Yeah, it's like
remember
it's
correctly.
cheaper than most ones.
Yeah.
but it's really good. It's a better flavor than Jameson. It's from the guys who do Always Sunny.
Oh, yeah.
I found-
That's what I think of it.
I
Really
found
good.
Irish whiskeys, you can get the best bang for your buck out of any
Yeah.
one. Like I found a lot that I really like. Sexton is one.
Mm.
That one's an amazing Irish whiskey that you can get. There was one I tried. It was like Dead Rabbit or something. Was another Irish whiskey. I don't think I've had that with you, but
Yeah.
I've had it. I've thought about getting it. I've actually seen Silky, but I don't think we got it.
Quiet
Man
Man
is
we've had.
great.
We've done it on
Yep,
the pod.
we've done
I was,
that.
like, thinking while you were
We did
talking.
Writer's Tears. That one's
Yeah.
really good. I mean, there's a lot of really good Irish whiskeys, and usually you're hard pressed to find them above $40.
Yeah.
Well, I'll tell
Like-
you what, next time at Brandon's, I'll get the Silky.
There you go.
All right.
We're doing Silky. So you guys hear it 1 month from now, we're doing Silky.
True. Yeah.
Home year first.
Little home and home. But so I wanted to, the last time we were here, we talked about kind of how-tos of the wedding. But if you remember the episode before that, we had just gotten back from Jeff's bachelor party. And we had Jeff with us to kind of debrief that one a little bit. That's where Chris and I met Ryan. So I think it's worth going over it for 5 or 6 minutes while we have the time. And a little behind the scenes, everybody here is flying solo, so we do have a little bit of time today. But what brought it up was when you said, if I'm going to go that way, it's going to be Bullet. And I was at the liquor store with our other friend Mike, and I had such a visceral reaction to Jim. Was it Jim Beam or Johnny? I forget. Was it Johnny Walker? Or
Well,
Jim Beam?
he was trying to get Makers.
He's trying to get Makers. That's what it was.
Yeah.
He walked up. I lost track. They walked up to the register with Makers, and I didn't realize it in the moment. I mean, I had met Mike 3 or 4 times. And I was like, "Oh, you got Makers?" And I didn't realize how it came off. And he was like, "Well, what's wrong with that?" I was like, "No one's gonna like it."
Chris doesn't like Makers. Don't get Makers.
Chris don't like it. I don't like it. So it's funny for when you said, if I'm gonna do Bullet. Because he was like, "Well, what do you want then?" I was like, "Let's just get Bullet. It's the same price point. Everybody likes Bullet."
I feel like I was there.
That's what I
Oh,
did.
yeah, it was in the grocery room.
That's what I did at the wedding.
Yeah.
So the wedding, especially for their cocktail, they had the old fashioned,
And let's be honest,
That was a
wasn't
little-
good.
was a little tough.
Great wedding.
The wedding was top shelf.
That old fashioned
was ass.
Well, I think this is like hating on it so bad. But when I saw them crack open a sugar packet
Oh,
and pour it in my glass, my heart melted.
it was like
It
a
was tough.
domino, like sugar packet.
They very well may, as a redeeming factor here, before we rag into this, they may have well had one of the best weddings I've ever been to in my life.
Oh, I'm
It
not
was-
ragging on Jeff's
It
wedding.
was an awesome
It
time.
was.
Jeff would probably agree.
It
But
was
that-
royal wedding.
That
type shit.
old fashioned was rough.
Yes, I'm
It's
with you.
it is simple syrup, bitters, whiskey, ice, and you take your lemon,
expose
your
the-
orange, and
whatever
you
the
do
fuck it is.
you express it.
Express it. Yeah.
You don't do. I know that in some recipes they'll
Packet
call
of
for
sugar.
that cherry. Like a lot of people will put
Yeah.
that in an old fashioned, especially restaurants and stuff. But the thing that's a huge red flag for me is when they put a slice of orange,
Or if they
a
muddle.
cherry, and then muddle both
Yeah.
of those in before they make the old fashioned. I get that in some recipes that's how it's done.
Yeah.
I don't like
Not
it
the
that
right
way.
ones.
It seems like it was just kind of a time saver.
Yeah.
Dude,
I don't think the sugar packets was. You know how simple
gotta-
it is to make simple syrup? Simple syrup, you can make it home in like 30 seconds. It would have been so much easier for them to just make a bottle of simple syrup and then
Yeah.
do that. That would have been so much quicker.
And what hurt the most was like when we talked about this last time, like you hit the bartenders early, and I admittedly got caught a little bit off guard. I had enough cash for Jeff's envelope. I didn't get extra wedding cash.
You
So
should have asked me. I had some extra cash. I would have fronted you.
Well, what I ended up doing was a pretty scumbaggy move, if you ask me.
Like you
But-
Venmoed them, didn't you?
I did, which is one thing. I mean, look, it's fine the same, whatever. But you don't get the credit when you're Venmo somebody.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at the sign, and this guy's name, I'm going to make it out. It's like Michael Smith.
Yeah.
And he has his Venmo. And I'm like, Mike, do you prefer Venmo or Cash App? And he's like, well, Venmo would be great. I was like, all right, man, I got you. There was no it was just Venmo. Like, there was no reason
Yeah.
to ask that question.
You just wanted it to be like,
other than for him to
recognize
know
me.
that I just paid him $20. And then
Oh,
he
that's
made me
so
a
funny.
shit old fashioned.
I wound up going up to, what'd you think his name? I think it was Steve, wasn't it?
I wasn't going to say his actual name, and the off chance he's one of our
He's
three
not,
listeners.
he's not watching the
What if
podcast.
Steve's out
Come
there?
on. Listen, Steve hooked me up. So like I was like getting tired of the old fashions because the sugar packets were
Yeah.
going straight to my hips. So I didn't do that. So I said, listen, I know that there's usually a rule against getting like neat whiskey at a wedding because it's a shot. And I'm like, I promise you, I'm not going to slug this. I said, I just don't like ice in my whiskey. I said, what can you do for me? And he grabs my glass. He takes the smallest ice cube he had of this
no,
thing and dropped it in there and then put the rest of the whiskey in there. So I kept going back to him after that point just to get whiskey neat because I didn't want anything else. He took care of me for sure at that bar.
Yeah, I'm not putting it on Steve. That's how he was told to make it. It's just a wild move.
It was, the sugar packets is
Sugar
next
pack,
level.
it's insane.
I didn't even notice.
I think that like I've had better old fashions.
I've made better old fashions.
We have.
Yeah.
But I was going to say dives are usually
Oh,
going to
yeah.
do better than that.
They have simple syrup on hand.
Yeah,
But yeah, that was crazy.
that was something. And they had like the good Angostura bitters or like the good bitters
That's the
that
thing. They
usually
did
do.
everything else.
Yes, they had like I could have done without the muddle. The bitters were great.
Yeah.
You really lost me with the simple syrup not being in there and doing.
But if you're going to go out and buy the bitters, it's in the same aisle. It's next to each other.
At that point, it wasn't even old-fashioned. It was like just sound like Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Well, so I didn't watch him make it. I didn't
It
watch them make it
identifies
in
it
the
Yeah.
in the cocktail hour. In the cocktail hour, I had just gotten it.
Yeah.
Because like I was like, whatever, like I want it, I'm gonna get it. I didn't even watch them make it. I was talking to you, or no, I think even Emily got it for me. So like it didn't even matter.
Yeah.
So I didn't even look. And then when I got the first one at the bar in the reception hall was when I actually watched him make it, and I'm like horrified looking on.
Yeah,
It was something.
it was tough, but what time? We have 19. All right, let's say in theory we're going to do 40 today. Because I want to get Ryan's perspective on something on camera. Because the
Go ahead.
last time we were here, we talked about Chris, myself, and half of the groomsmen / wedding parties disappearing. I want to get, but we only have our perspective.
The outside
We have me,
perspective.
Chris, and Jeff, all of whom were on it. I would love to get an outside perspective. And I'm sure it's the same 5 viewers that watched last week, but a real quick synopsis is it was Jeff's bachelor party. First night had been pretty tame. The next night was the last night, was going to be pretty tame. So we saw one opportunity to get Jeff fucked up at a beach club, and we took it. Problem is, some people had already gotten in an Uber and left, and we made this decision. Ryan being one of those people.
Oh, I know.
Man down.
Yeah, so I'm curious to hear what the other part of the camp thought when they realized that there was a faction that went to this tiki bar.
Just the fact that we split up. I think just
in general,
They
like
said it's too close to home. I can't talk about it.
yeah, like everybody comes back in either that night or the next morning. Dude, I blacked out. It was so sick. The band was great.
You
And
guys
like,
got back at
yeah,
No.
he was back at 3.
I got back at 3.
I was sent home at 1.
I think it's like my perspective is it was just kind of a miscommunication. Like Jeff was like sitting in our.
It was a.
He was
total
in the car.
He was in our Uber. I don't remember if you were. I think it was me, Olsen, and Mike Taylor. Somebody.
I wasn't. I was the one furiously calling Jeff to get out of the Uber.
My recollection is that it happened so quick.
Yeah.
So like we had ordered our drinks at the rooftop bar,
Oh, that's true.
and I do remember that like the rooftop bar crew did seem like we were gonna like skip out.
Yeah.
I did remember
earlier,
that.
I think it was Mike Taylor.
But I was in the
Oh,
bathroom.
yeah.
I was in the bathroom, and I came out of the bathroom, and everybody was gone.
Yeah.
So I'm like, whoa, what the heck happened? Like everybody just left. Like I only went to pee. It's not like
Yeah.
I was only in there for maybe like 2 minutes.
It was only me,
So-
you, and Colin left.
So
upstairs.
then you ran up to me and you're like, everybody's leaving, and I'm like, no, they're not. We're not doing that.
Yeah.
I said it's Friday. Jeff's out here for a bachelor party. I said, let's go have like a good time. I recognize that maybe not everybody wanted to do it, but I did feel a lot of remorse that in the end, there's probably a handful of people that went back that
Ryan
probably
Olsen,
didn't want
chief among them.
definitely didn't want to go back.
I was down for it.
Yeah.
Mike Taylor seemed so like
Ready to go.
He was like, "No, everybody's coming back, man. Let's feel like we're gonna go party at the house." I was like, "All right, sounds good. I'll get in the first Uber, whatever."
Yeah.
And then just that is not what happened.
No, that plan was made in 2 separate groups.
Yeah.
But it was
Well, because if they would have pitched the overall idea, because I mean, for those of you, nobody was there. Night 1, we partied at the house, which was fun. Everybody was kind of meeting each other.
Yeah.
But I think calling night 1 a party would be a bit of a stretch.
Yeah, it was just
With a chill at the house.
Yeah.
And you knew Saturday night, we all had to fly home on Sunday.
right.
So it was like, if we're gonna blow this thing out and we're gonna do some dumb shit, we're gonna get Jeff fucked up, it was gonna be now. So then when the idea of let's go party at the house was pitched, it would have been easier if Chris and I somehow were both not at the table. Jeff was, I don't know where Jeff was. Jeff didn't know where Jeff was at that point. If we had everybody in a central location, it would have been discussed. We came back to find an empty table and had to make a game time call. Are we going home? Or are we going to this beach club that the Uber driver said was dope? And we chose option B.
Honestly, that's totally fine. I mean, me, Mike, Olsen, and Matt Sharon, we ended up just like going to a few bars, like 3 or 4, I think, like just like right around where the house was for a couple of hours. And just coming back.
Now, there is an important part here that I think you're skipping over. Not everybody drove back. There was a man left miles from home on foot.
Oh,
Mike Haley.
At those bars.
Oh, because he went
You
back.
left Mike.
Oh, we left him at the freaking bar. Yeah, I forgot.
You forgot him.
He was talking to him. That's actually a funny story. So yeah, we left him. I think the bar was called Hurricane Joe's or something.
Yeah.
It was like right around the corner, and there was a guy there like with a drink, like
Oh, it's a button?
with like the hole in his
Yeah.
throat, and he like this guy just caught Mike up for like just like would not. stop
You
going.
said fuck him, we'll leave?
He was like, yeah, right there in like 1 second, and then me and Olsen and Matt were like, all right, sounds good. Like, he like told us to go. He was like, I'll catch up. Like, so we just like took off.
That's not how he tells it.
And then you guys get all the way back to the house, and you're like, "Where the hell is Mike?"
Yeah.
Walking
I
home.
was like sleeping like a baby when he got back, and then he's like, dude, I was like running back from this bar, like whatever
Dude.
time he got back. I think it was still way before Chris got back.
I don't even know.
Mike
how
was
I got
home when I
back.
got home. so it was-
I thought Colin put me to bed, and Colin thinks I put him to bed. So I'm like, I have no idea how we got
That's
back.
hilarious. I forgot about that.
Dude, Mike didn't. When I was at a table,
Talking about
Yes.
that at the wedding.
I saw him at the cocktail hour. And he was, maybe they won't leave me behind today.
He's bitter
It's
about
like,
it.
well, we're at one location.
Yeah,
That is really funny.
Well, it's funny that all 3 of us like misunderstood it the same way because the way he came off, he was like, "Yeah, I'll catch up. I'll catch up." Like,
I think he
something
meant like
that.
go to the car,
Yeah,
not leave me here.
yeah. See it.
Couldn't happen to a funnier
That's
guy.
hilarious.
It would have been better if he was like in the back windshield, like wait for me, like he was
Yeah.
just behind you guys or something.
And it is worth noting, and I'm taking a chance on who the 6 viewers are. Really taking a chance here. But I think it is worth noting that we had what we had happen on that trip on 2 separate occasions would have nuked a bachelorette party. If you had left the girl at the bar and driven home,
or we split the
Oh,
group.
yeah, absolutely.
war.
Oh, yeah.
If half of the group went to a club and the other half home, war.
Men are just like, it's fine, man.
It was just like, yeah, whatever, dude. Shit happens. You guys have fun?
That's true.
We had fun. We left Mike behind.
Colin and I had a time that night. It was one for the records. It was such an
Colin's a funny
oddball collection.
And he was
of
weird at the wedding. I barely talked to him.
I know.
He's very quiet until you get like. By the time we made it, he was even quiet at the tiki bar.
At the bachelor party.
Yeah,
He
when I
only
was
opened
there,
up
yeah.
when I made it to the nightclub, the
Yeah.
last stop of the night. We closed out like a proper nightclub. It closed at 3 a.m. and that or 2 a.m. 2:30 somewhere around there. We got back to the house at 3. But finally, like after we were there for maybe like 20-30 minutes, he finally started opening up.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, cool. Like, I'm totally down for it. He was a really cool guy. But, like, we also were with the most odd assortment of people that I've ever met in my life. It was like 10 people
They
from all
looked
different
Amish,
walks of life.
But those dudes were sick.
Yeah. No,
They
were
were
super cool.
They were part of the reason we went. Like,
to the tiki bar in the first place.
yeah, like, look, hand up. I was a problem. And when we were leaving the rooftop bar, I started full sprint down the street to the tiki bar because I was like excited. And everybody else was like, kind of like, oh, what the fuck's he doing? That guy was like, yeah, you go, brother. Like this just a blindly supportive stranger.
They were on Rumsh.
I think it's
I don't
possible.
think they were actual Amish.
I don't know.
I think
man.
they just looked Amish. No,
No, they fit the part, dude.
but they weren't dressed that way.
You wouldn't be if you were like what he's
I
talking
guess
about
that's
is you
true.
get like
You get a year to go nuts.
yeah, to do whatever you
Cycle and
want.
return.
So like I
Are
think
the Amish down there?
they could be vacationing there. What if they're in Pennsylvania, right? And they wind up going on the first part of their year, and somebody tells them they meet while they're outside of their community. Tampa is the coolest place to go in the world. So you're like, well, we got to go to Tampa now. So then they go out there.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is.
Yeah, you get a year
Yeah.
to decide if you want to come back or not.
We met those guys. We met this like British guy and his wife or something, and like some other like
For
two
sure
or three
swingers.
couples, like 2 or 3 other couples, and we were just. I don't think I paid for a single drink
Like
the
I
whole
said,
time we were at the night.
for sure swingers.
Like we
They
were.
don't spend anything.
We were just hanging out. It was a blast.
Imagine your Pico bill being zero every month. They don't
Yeah.
have
But
electricity.
you're also sleeping in this.
True. That would blow.
Dude, I can't sleep with temperatures above 68 degrees. So
It's devastating. Well, if you don't know any better,
ancient knowledge.
they got pyramids in there and shit.
Somebody just fanning them the whole time.
I don't think they have sleeves. I don't think they're that far behind. But it is. So what was nice about the bachelor party was that everybody got to meet, and like we kind of had like this immediate friend group rolling in. Like you got to figure, like everybody had spent 72 hours together recently. I mean, I know you knew some of these guys from way back, but like having that walking into Jeff's wedding made it, for at least for me, you can speak to your own experience, 100 times better.
Oh yeah.
Because prior to the bachelor party, Chris and I knew Jeff and some of Shannon's friends.
Yep.
But meeting all you guys, like it was kind of like, you know, it was a wedding with the boys, even though you only know each other for 30 days.
Not that we wouldn't have hung out anyway, but like it would have been me and Brandon just kind of exclusively hanging
Yeah.
out because we're both friendly.
I mean, I go back with Jeff. Like, I grew up with Jeff,
Yeah.
but like us three kind of like really hit it off at like the bachelor party.
Yeah.
Like, I literally just met these guys.
Yeah.
I almost had like a month or
Yeah.
month and a half or something.
Yeah. But it was like, I mean, everybody at the bachelor party was dope. Like, please don't get me wrong. I mean, Mike Haley is a time and a half all, like everybody was sick, but it was one of those things. Like we were sitting at the airport, and I was like, "Yeah, we're the same 3 people just ran into each other." And geographically it worked out too. But dude, his wedding. I mean, Jeff was my 9th wedding, and it might have been the sickest wedding I've been to
Yeah,
yet.
it was a good time, man.
Right.
I went all out.
That crowd surfing maneuver
So
was
cool.
so fun.
So cool.
That DJ
Shannon
was awesome.
hated it.
Oh, I bet.
I don't know
hated
if she did. I think she was nervous about it. I don't think she hated it in the end. She was definitely terrified,
Maybe that's a better word.
as you probably would be.
I'm
But
sure.
she was also feeling herself by the end of the night, so she probably
By
didn't
the
have
end
the
of the
best.
night.
Well, she probably didn't have the best inhibitions
Yeah.
going forward.
But dude, that DJ was so sick. Food was unbelievable. The venue was like insane.
There was a 0 shot I was dropping her during that crowd.
Oh
surfing
no,
thing.
dude.
I got.
I
like,
was locked
I
in.
was like right behind her. I'm like, I'm gonna be the.
Yeah.
I'm like the first person to make sure that she's not gonna go down. Because honestly, I used to go to like all the Warped Tours and everything else, and
Did
like
you?
yeah, and like go crowd surfing and everything else. Oh yeah, big time. the place people fall crowd
Yeah.
surfing is right away.
Yeah.
So like if you get up in the
Because that's
air,
where the most
then
force
you're-
is coming
then
down.
you're fine. So yeah, no. I went to the very last one that they did too. I've been to quite a few of them, but I did the last one. I just heard they did another one in Oregon or something. But I did the last one that was on this coast in Atlantic City when it had that giant thunderstorm. I was there for that one on the beach. It was a lot of fun. Enjoyed that.
That's awesome.
That'd be, we'll talk about off air because everybody here is growing up in different ways, obviously. I mean, different responsibilities. I don't know how much share and don't share, whatever. Now that I know, that would be a fun. I mean, the cruise supposed to be the last hurrah, but like a last blowout before one of us becomes even more of an adult.
Oh,
I'm like an AC
I'm
nightclub.
very quickly on my way there.
I know.
So, yes, Harrah's pool after dark
H2O would be
should
sick.
be very soon.
One last time before you can
Yep,
would be a dope time.
absolutely.
Keep that in the back of our mind. But
Cool.
the cool thing about we're only at third.
No, you're good. I'm just
Yeah.
I'm going to the next one.
One of the cool thing about Jeff's is I've been to a bunch of different weddings, and typically the ones in the fancier, more upscale venues try to be something they're not. Like this was a wedding between somebody who's like early 30s and like it's still a fun wedding. It's not like regal and like all that shit. They booked an awesome venue in basically a castle in the middle of like
New Jersey.
Jeff told me about 17 times. And you know what? When I walked in, I went, "Yep, he's right." But it was still like it was a sick venue, but they treated it like a wedding for young people. Like it wasn't needlessly bougie and shit. Yeah, it was fun. You could get hammered, you could crowd surf. The DJ was
also.
he was
He
great.
was lifting a heavy weight too. Like he was like the life of the party. He was really good.
I thought he did a good
I'll come out
job.
and say he was way fucking better than
It makes the wedding though, dude. Like
he did a great job.
they're steering the ship. And I think Jeff just has fun friends in general. You have like
What a solid crew people get. Like even people in Shannon's family and Jeff's family are also really cool.
Yeah.
So to like to get
Jeff's parents
those two groups together is really fun.
Jeff's parents are Shannon's parents are a blast too. Like I mean,
Love them.
I've only got to meet her a couple times. One of them being at
Yeah.
your pool party. But as soon as I met her dad, I was like, "Oh, we're gonna be friends." Like,
Yeah.
Pleasant thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Taco.
Yeah.
Was it taco? Not Taco Bash. What the hell is it?
I don't know what she called it this year. This is the third annual.
Yeah.
Third annual thing. Yeah. No, it's gonna be a good time. It's gonna be really big this year. I think we have like 75 people on the guest list.
House can hold it.
Yeah.
As
for
somebody
sure.
been the last two of them, the house can hold it.
And you have the whole outside, which is huge.
That's what I
And
mean.
the pool.
You're not inside. The pool's insane.
Exactly.
The backyard's beautiful.
Yep.
Chicken won't kill anybody this time. Sorry, Morgan, if you're watching. But yeah, it was an awesome time.
Nice. I don't know about you guys. I'm getting a little toasty.
That's fair. I'm better than I was inside. I think
Yeah.
I said toasted.
No. Not from the booze.
Yeah.
It's just hot outside.
I was like, "Look, buddy, you're
I
welcome
wasn't
to."
sure if you said tipsy or toast.
Yeah,
Toasty,
like,
which
you're
can
welcome
also be used for a.
I use toasted that way.
Yeah.
That's in between. There's
Great word, bro.
tipsy, toasted, and drunk.
In this case, it's temperature.
Toasty.
Yeah. Toasty like bread in a freaking oven.
Look at the label.
I've
Yeah.
been outside way
The
Yeah.
label's melting off.
more.
Today,
That thing's almost like touch.
it's pretty close.
Look at the sticker.
Man, that's crazy.
Yeah, that's how hot. I didn't. Yeah, the fan has helped a little bit, but you're right.
It
We're
kind of
getting there.
distracts against from the
Yeah.
fact that it's 80 something degrees out at 7:45 at night.
And
It's
you're
insane.
under so
Yeah, it's.
my phone is set feels like 110 degrees for like
Currently?
4 days.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know this very second.
Yeah, that's the thing.
The height of the day.
It's hot as fuck. But we'll wrap this one up. We'll be back in 2 weeks over at Chris's place. Brand new whiskey because we're tapped out of whiskey. So
Mhm.
brand new whiskey. We'll see. I don't think he's back yet, so we won't be able to get the Jeff report from Europe. But soon, that's coming your way.
Yeah,
We have to do 4 wide at the Farron residence. We'll do that.
definitely.
I'll also be
We'll crouch in here for sure.
We'll pack in. Absolutely welcome anytime.
I'll try to make some of your place.
Yeah, that's a hike for you. I get it. So
This is what 20 minutes for you. Yeah.
There was a little bit of traffic, but I'll try my best.
yeah.
Sweet. Well,
All right.
our new correspondent, Ryan. But until next time, I'm Brandon. That's Chris. Ryan. And we are the Whiskey Gingers. See you next time. end stream and then